There's no hiding it, this is a small channel, but we are responding to viewer concerns and questions like this one.
Dear so-called DadSpecRC, what kind of loony land are you living in? 1/12 and 1/14 cars are massive. People don't have space to store them. Can't you look at something smaller?
Alright then. So here it is. This is the Carisma GT24, a 1/24th brush car that definitely isn't a Mark I Ford Escort because that might be trademark infringement. It's a small, manageable, hobby-grade car. It comes ready to run with a 7.2 volt nickel metal hydride battery in the box, but can take a 7.4 volt 2-cell LiPo. As with DadSpec rules, it costs less than 200 Australian metric dollars. In fact, this one was less than 150. And if the Carisma is too rich for your taste, there is a budget-friendly option that seems to be well equipped on paper. This is the WLToys Vagrant. It is also 1/24th scale. It is also shaped like a car. It has a gyro and comes shipped ready to run with the 7.4 volt lithium polymer battery in the box. The Vagrant can be bought for as little as $54.95 Australian if you're happy to have the plain box version. Well, if the cake bag test from the introduction didn't prove it to you, here is the Carisma. And here's the same Carisma next to one metric banana. And here's the Vagrant next to the same metric banana. However, if banana calibrated testing is not your forte, here's another test. Here is the unlicensed 1/24th Carisma, right next to a 1/8 scale licensed Sen Racing Puma. Here is the Vagrant, next to the same licensed 1/8 Puma. So yes, they're small. Apart from the already stated, the Carisma and WLToys will both do 25 kilometers an hour. The Carisma is 4-wheel drive, the Vagrant is 2-wheel drive. The Carisma has a 3-wire servo because it's a normal car, and the WLToys doesn't because it's a WLToys. It also has a gyro for driving. Based on the amount of things you get for the money, you would have to be a complete idiot to buy the GT24 over the Vagrant. The only way to find out how much of an idiot is by handing them over to our tame racing driver. Some say that he has a drawer full of useful things, and that based on how many lights were left on, you must think that money grows on trees. All we know is, he's the responsible adult. Going first is the Carisma. The 4-wheel drive and tyres are making a good deal of difference on the track here. It can still slide, but it's built on a proper micro chassis, and that may be some of the undoing of the WLToys. There's no spare battery today, so we've had to improvise. Although it's small, the Carisma is not slow. It's able to make full use of the very wide track, and what it lacks in power, it does make up in nimbleness. There's the hot lap. Let's see if the Vagrant can do better. This footage is not slowed down. It appears the gyro might not be working on this car, as it can't drive more than 90 centimeters without spinning. The tyres are providing no grip at all, and all that power going to the back wheels is making the car twitchy at best. It actually drove better in reverse. Because of these factors, our timing setup was less than optimal for this particular car. We would have been better suited with a sundial, or a calendar, or the erosion of a rock. To demonstrate the problem, here is some footage of the responsible adult attempting to drive the Vagrant down the main straight. Yes, this lap could take some time. Perhaps now's a good time to prepare a hot drink, phone a loved one, do some Christmas shopping, hit the like and subscribe button maybe. Here's a second angle of the car trying to navigate the left-hand turn at the end of the main straight. Now you might be thinking maybe we had a dud car. Well, we bought 3, and they were all like this. Anyway, back to the lap. You can just make out the tiny car right to the left of Ned Patina there on the rear straight, trying to get into Lefty Lucy, trying very hard. Nearly. I think we're nearly there. Yes, we've done Lefty Lucy, but now we're doing Spinny Winnie, and that's not right. There we go. We're trying to get into Righty Tighty. Nearly. We're getting close. This is the quickest lap this car did. You are witnessing the quickest lap this car did of our test track. Maybe this car's better on other surfaces. Anyway. And it's across the line. Now that's thankfully over, let's go to the board. Initially I thought both these cars would be on the bottom of the board, but this car is a surprise. Bear in mind it's half the size of the other cars and had 0 driver aids. No, it's not on the bottom. In fact, it was quicker than the 1/14th WLToys. The WLToys did end up surprising us, but not in a way we would have expected. At $54, is it a good value proposition? Well, it's not going to go to the top of the board. It's probably going to go somewhere. Will it go somewhere here? No, it's going to go right to the bottom. And no one ever suspected a 1 minute 33-second lap from any car on our track. And there you have it. If you want a car that fits in a lunchbox and makes it around the track, buy the copyright infringement. I mean the Carisma. And if you want something that looks like a car that does fit in the lunchbox and would make it around a much wider track, much more slowly, well, buy the Vagrant. And on that bombshell of consumer advice, it's time to end. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.